Hello, it's IceColdFreezie. Today we're going to be properly texturing all of the custom model that you made in the other tutorials. I really screwed up the whole texturing process. I don't know what happened there, but we'll be correcting that and adding bump maps and phong shading to get a realistic looking model. Just some examples first. See, here is plain brown cylinder. It looks extremely drab. There's nothing special about it. Next one is some phong shading right here. You can see this adds some glare. It makes it look shinier, a little more realistic, I guess, more with the TF2 feel. This one is some bump mapping. I don't know if you can see it at the resolution, but it's just not smooth, and the shadows is not a smooth thing, and it looks textured and more realistic, which is really good. Bump mapping is beautiful. We love it. And this next one is just sort of an example of what you're going to make today. It has custom texture and bump mapping and some phong. So it looks a lot better than your cylinder. So close all that. First step, open up ViewWrench and delete all of your textures. Everything in your texture folder goes. And because we're just going to be starting over from scratch, open wrench.max and ignore this warning that pops up about missing external files, because we know we deleted them. Just click continue. And this button down here, zoom extents all, that's a good one. It fills each viewport with the model, so it's easier to see. So you can click your cylinder, go to modify, and click this trash can, which will delete unwrap UVW. And re-add it again. We're just resetting everything. So expand this and click face. Go away. So when you're making your model or your texture, you don't want to just press Control A and be done with it, because that will stretch it, and not all the model is going to have proper texture space or whatever. It's just going to look like crap. Uncheck normalize map down here. If that is checked, it will just stretch everything, so your aspect ratio is all wrong and it looks ugly. So don't do this right now. This is just an example. If I press Control A and click Edit, and then cylindrical, and then align Z, and then zoom out, it gets really big. But you can see these little offshoot thingies right here. Oop. And the entire top of the cylinder is just assigned to this line, which you cannot texture, so it's just going to mess everything up. So I'm just going to press Control Z a lot. La la la. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, you can start following along now, is just select the cylindrical part, not the top or the bottom. Hold Control while you're selecting to keep what you already selected. So just make sure the entire cylinder is red. And now we can check Edit and cylindrical, because it's a cylinder, and align Z. And unclick cylindrical. And yeah, it's really big now. We'll be resizing it later, but you can see it is not stretched and it's the proper size. So we'll just move it over here. And now you can just click the top, click planar, because it's just a flat plane, and align Z, and unclick planar. And now this is our top. It's easy to see, it's easy to texture, you can texture it, it's just a lot better. And now zoom down and select the bottom, and it's planar, align Z. So now this is all of our texture, and you can see this tiny little box down here that's blue. The only thing that's going to show up in the actual bitmap that you make is going to be the stuff in that blue box. So press Control A and scale it all the way down, like way down, so small. and move it over the blue box. Let's do some zooming in. This drop down, you can select remove texture to make it easier to see. And general rule is you want all of this stuff to be as big as possible but still fit inside this box. So yeah, I'm going to rotate a little bit so we can fit some more in. The bigger you make it, the better resolution it's going to be, so the more detail you can fit in. I'd say that's good for now. Now you can go to Tools and Render UVW Template. This is going to be pretty much the exact same thing as Text Border, but you don't need to download the plugin. So when you're setting width and height, again it has to be powers of 2. The higher you make it, the better resolution it's going to be, the better it's going to look in game, and the more it's going to tax your graphics card. So don't go too high. About 2048 is the max you're ever going to want to get. I'm just going to keep it at 1024. Click Render UVW Template, save it as wrench.bmp in your textures folder. Oh, BMP. And now we can close all this. Press M and click the box next to diffuse. It'll have a little M by it. And click this bitmap button. And double click bitmap and find the texture you just made. And press this button and this button. So now it's assigned and it covers everything. So we can save this and move on. Export it as an SMD. SMD. You can overwrite wrench because you don't need that one anymore. And make sure it's export reference SMD. Okay. Okay, and you can close that now.